Hey, welcome back to the Big Ranch Show. Thank you for joining me. Now, last night there was a big win for Reverend Warnock in the Georgia Senate runoff election. Of course, it was Herschel Walker and Reverend Warnock. Warnock's a great guy from everything I've seen. A good man. Been you know did pretty good as a state senator or a U.S. senator since the special election that he became a senator with last year. But of course, there was a big runoff. They were neck and neck in November, literally tying at like 50%, I believe it was, of the vote. Um, like right, just neck and neck with each other. And this was no different. This is really pretty much the same kind of thing, where they were just neck and neck most of the night, and finally, when the results came down to it in the runoff, Reverend Warnock won. Now, I'm not going to show you this full article here. It's from Fox News. That's at least where I'm getting the headline from. But I'm getting it from them because they were the only ones that really had a decent article up about him conceding the election. Although the article doesn't have some of the things that I want to point out about his concession speech. But as you see here, Herschel Walker concedes after bitter Georgia runoff. I'm not going to make any excuses. And that's the one thing you're going to notice about Herschel Walker. Is he a smart man? No. Is he really a moral man? Hasn't shown it. But he at least admits defeat. I'll give him that much. When he lost yesterday, there was no talk of, oh, it was rigged, oh, it was a stolen election, like, Kerry Lake down, in Arizona and Donald Trump in 2020 and almost every Republican since. So at least I have a monicum of respect for the man. At least for respecting the way we do things in America. And I think that's awesome. That finally a Republican is actually, having a bit of stand-up character for a change and admitting defeat. Now, he may not admit his other shortcomings. He won't. He doesn't seem to want to come clean on paying for abortions. He doesn't want to come clean for abandoning his family just so he can go get a little more, sex. But the one thing I am glad he did is he admitted defeat. And this is something a lot of Republicans need to learn. Because a lot of Republicans don't understand this. They think that the way to go is to, knock down our traditions and our way of doing elections. They think the best way to do it is to, attack our the electoral institutions that we have here in this country. Right? Where, when the election's done, it's done, right? That's it. You win, you lose. You have recounts if you need them. You have runoffs if you need them. But you still have people challenging the election results in Arizona. You still have Kerry Lake saying that she was robbed. You still have Donald Trump saying that he wants to terminate the Constitution so he can win the elections. Does that make sense? No, that's not how we do things. We don't just change the Constitution on a whim. We can have a discussion over certain things. We can have a discussion over if there are constitutional changes that need to be made. But to talk about terminating elections or terminating the rules and laws we have based on a whim, just because you lost an election and there's no sign of any kind of fraud, that's what Donald Trump wants, right? And it's interesting. Herschel Walker was one of Donald Trump's picks. He campaigned for the guy. But you can tell in his concession speech how he was seemed like he kind of put himself, pulled himself away from Trump a little bit. because he said, I want you to respect." He said something about, I want you to love America. I want you to respect our elected leaders. Respect our elections, right? He didn't say that there was any kind of fraud or anything like that. He didn't try to diminish our institutions. He didn't try to tear apart people's faith in the U.S. electoral system. And I have a lot of respect for that, because there are a lot of people that don't do that kind of stuff. A lot of Republicans these days just don't do that. Let me see if this video will play for me.
Thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And also I'm going to acknowledge my wife, Julie, because she's with me and she's been through a tough time. But I want to say that I want to thank all of you as well, because we've had a tough journey, have we not? But one of the things I said is when they called the race, I said the numbers doesn't look like they're going to add up. But one of the things I want to tell all of you is you never stop dreaming. I don't want any of you to stop dreaming. I don't want any of you to stop believing in America. I want you to believe in America and continue to believe in the Constitution and believe in our elected officials most of all. Continue to pray for them, because all...
As you see, I don't know if you could hear it very well. You may have to turn your microphone up or your speakers up and run it back a little bit. But he said he wanted you to continue supporting America, supporting its elected officials, and pray for them. And I think that's awesome. An awesome way to concede. There's no bullshit there. So I have a little bit more respect for Herschel Walker than I had at the beginning of this campaign. And if he hadn't been running on a stack of lies about being pro-life, pro-family, maybe he would have actually won the election. Maybe if he had been honest, more of those independents would have leaned his direction. Maybe if he hadn't attacked the LGBTQ community, maybe more of those independents would have leaned his way. Maybe if he had just been honest with who he is and what he's done. But I don't believe he would have been a good U.S. senator. Just like I don't believe Marjorie Taylor Greene is a good, congresswoman. I don't believe Lauren Boebert can be a good congresswoman, because those two don't respect our institutions. They don't respect the Constitution. They don't respect America. But at least this guy had enough respect for America and enough respect for our Constitution not to trash it, not to tear down our institutions, not to sow, discontent. He chose a noble route. He chose the route a man should take, and what I expect a man to take. One thing that you can learn from watching people, especially from watching men, is how they take loss. If they're humble like he was, there's more to them. There's more chances for them in the future, I think. I don't think Herschel Walker makes a good senator. I don't think Herschel Walker is good in government. But could he do good for people later, doing other things? Could he push, getting kids more active in sports? Yeah, I'd buy it. But I just wish he'd been honest from the start. He hid the fact that he didn't even live in Georgia, that as recently as last year filed his taxes in Texas, with his home being in Dallas there, right? But my thing is is that Warnock won. It gives the Democrats a 51-50 lead in the Senate. Therefore, we no longer need, Joe Manchin as much to get things passed. Of course, the House is run now going to be run, but come January, will be run by the Republicans, and we won't get any big legislation done anyway. But I truly believe that he was being used as a patsy in a way by the Republican Party. They thought by putting Herschel Walker, a former Bulldog, this great, very well known sports, star, that they would get people to vote for him, regardless of his history. And for the Republicans, the registered Republicans, yeah, that worked. But your moderates, your moderate Republicans and your libertarians and your independents, people that are truly family values, truly pro-life, couldn't vote for him. And I think that Reverend Warnock is a much more educated, at least sounding man. He doesn't get off on diatribes of vampires and werewolves. And he seems like he's doing good for the people of Georgia, or they wouldn't have reelected him yesterday. So congratulations to Reverend Warnock. Um, I don't know what to say else about Herschel Walker except thank you for, being respectful of our Constitution, of America, and of our voting institute, our institution of voting. Thank you for not trying to sow seeds of discontent, make it seem like there's a lack of integrity in our elections. And I want to thank him for at least stepping away from what Donald Trump would want him to do. Because you notice two of Donald Trump's most high-profile people, when they lost, they were respectful about it. They didn't scream that they got cheated. Dr. Oz didn't. Herschel Walker didn't. So, anyways, y'all have a great day. I'll see you down the road. This will be my last video this week unless something major happens. But do expect a Christmas video next week about last minute gifts and stuff. I'm going to do the next few days and try to find articles about last minute cheap Christmas gift ideas for this year. I know it's been difficult for people this year because of high prices and stuff, but we're going to try to figure out something for you. Try to help find things that you can maybe go find at your local dollar store, or Walmart, or whatever I can help find. But you know me, I always try to focus on finding, try to find some cheap, affordable, gifts. That way you can where people can at least feel like they got something, and that you feel like you were able to give something. And that's all. Anyways, y'all have a great day, and I'll see you down the road.